Hey guys, Dr. Mike Dusa, MTFU longevity over 50. How are you? Uh, Women who are desperate to modify their silhouettes. We see a lot, well, not just today, but since the 16th century when corsets started being used. Today we know them as waist trainers. I had one of my top members, probably the best bodybuilder I have on, other than the pro Mr. Olympia guys on MTFU. He wanted me to address waist trainers. He's been around a long time. He knows the deal. But even still, even guys like him and I who've been training for many, many years, if you see something new, I'm not quick to speak derisively of anything because you never know. I mean, that goes under my theory that nothing sucks. Like if I say lacrosse sucks, well, I don't play lacrosse, so how would I know that lacrosse sucks? That's not fair. Uh, so that being a good or bad example, the whole point here is, a lot of the new things that come on the horizon in fitness and training on a regular basis, I will at least examine them. A lot of it is malarkey. These waist trainers or corsets, even though they've been around for centuries, now a lot of people are using them to get this wasp waist, and I guess the Kardashians and their followers are doing this. Uh, I spoke to a good friend of mine today who's a bariatric physician at Yale. I wanted his take on it. Now, he does surgeries that help people lose weight. He does like lap bands, stomach reduction, and stuff like that. Frankly, I hate to even have to say this as far as his integrity. He has high integrity. He already has money. He doesn't need the patients. So if somebody comes to him, and let's say they want to do a waist trainer instead of going with him surgically, if he thinks surgery is not going to help, if he thinks they're not a candidate because they're not psychologically sound, um, given the fact that 50% of the people that have those surgeries done gain all the weight back, hundreds of pounds, whatever it might be. Well, he plods with a methodicity to his choosing of patients. So I think he's a good historian when it comes to this stuff. And basically, we talked about a few things. A lot of people seem to think that you lose fat wearing these things. Now, number one, these are worn for hours a day. They go basically from the xiphoid or the sternum down to the lower floating ribs around your entire thorax. And something called cinching is employed. In other words, it's tied to a certain tightness until you can tolerate that easily, and then it's tied tighter and tighter as time goes on. These things are worn 8 to 10 hours a day. And the theory is hopefully you're burning fat, the area is sweating, you're moving fat from the stomach area down into the ass area. Number one, if that is true at all, it's a small amount of fat, or maybe even moderate, certainly not significant. It's not going to give you that big pontoon-like ass that you might be looking for. Um, Hard work will do that if it's in your genetics, or if you go to Brazil and get those injections or whatever they do down there. Uh, and the psychological toll that occurs is this: you take that trainer off, you've been wearing it for however many weeks or months, and all the fat slowly sifts back to where it was. And that is a devastating effect for somebody who might have put all their hopes and dreams into this implement something outside of yourself to affect the change. And we know that usually doesn't work, even when you use a machine in the gym. If you're off just a little bit, a machine is an implement. It's not part of you. You have to make it a part of you to affect a change in your target muscle. That's intensity. How many people get there? Maybe 5% of the people. So, when you're depending on ostensible factors to make changes in your body, just ain't happening. Okay. I just got back from the mall, Christmas shopping, and everybody's fat right across the board. I mean, it's just my observation. So are the waist trainers working? Look, there's a lot of negatives that we talked about today. You're decreasing oxygen and blood flow to all the organs. You're producing a potential acid reflux. I've got a little list here. Skin irritation, breathing suppression, numbness, psychological toll that we just mentioned. None of it very good. And even my friend from MTFU, he said he was wearing one day. He tried it, wore it around, went about his daily doings, worked out, fell asleep with it on, and was startled awake because he couldn't breathe. When he laid down, it got tighter and tighter because that's how these things work. And basically, you're pushing your diaphragm up into your lungs. And your diaphragm is something that goes up and down and helps your lungs push out, pull in. And your ribs also roll up and down when you breathe. That's normal respiration. When you're wearing this thing, most of that is retarded or impeded. So you've got this feeling where you really can't take a deep breath. And what do you do when you go in the gym? Breathing is a big part of it all. And if you're reticent to breathe and you're thinking of all these secondary factors, you're not concentrating on training. You're concentrating on a bunch of other malarkey that's not going to give you any results. So I think pretty much if I had like a big X that could kind of go right now, that's what I'd push because I think these, my opinion, they're a waste of time. And if you're getting too far away from hard work and dedication and, you know, looking at things over the long run and watching the Kardashians and all that, you know, you're going to be in sorry sagging shape and you're going to be unhappy and you're going to join the rest of the crew. So that's all I got. Put your thoughts, questions, considerations down below. As always, they are my oxygen. And I'll talk to you again and have a happy Christmas season.